I've been called an entrepreneur. There you go. All right. Okay. So I'm an entrepreneur. My name is Canon Paul. I'm a serial entrepreneur in the technology and media space. My statement is I like to make a difference. My belief is that you want to live your life without regrets. Life opens doors for you, and one of your responsibilities is to walk through them. And not having any regrets is not just about not doing things that you're ashamed of or embarrassed about, it's also about making the most of the opportunities that are given to you. And making a difference is about capitalising on those opportunities, but with integrity and with intent. So we can be bystanders in life if we want to be, but you can also be proactive, and you can also use those opportunities not only to your benefit, but to the benefit of those around you and those who matter. So I've been a business advisor and mentor to quite a few people who have been subsequently quite successful in business and have sold businesses and gone on to do quite important and significant things in their careers. So my general advice to people is always err on the side of human behaviour, humanistic behaviour. So don't do things that you will ultimately regret or will bring you bad karma. Actually, you're better off walking away from a situation that could potentially be antagonistic or cause you more stress than it's worth in the long term. I can keep going actually. Ultimately, the negative energy that you bring on yourself by conflict is usually not worth the trouble. I also believe that relationships are for the long term, and the people that actually matter in your life are the people that you have a trust relationship with, the people you pick up the phone to maybe 3 years, 4 years, 10 years down the road and still have a great relationship with, and will open doors for you and will trust you and will do things for you purely because they have a relationship with you, they like you, they like doing business with you. Generally speaking, that's how the world goes around. One of my philosophies is to treat people the way you want to be treated, and that's not always easy. Difficulty lies when people treat you in a way that you think is unfair. So you don't go and treat them back in the same way. You treat them in the way that you would like to be treated, ideally, under those circumstances. Now, I think we all have issues. We all can be selfish. We all can be petulant or grumpy or angry. And making allowances for those things is how you want to be treated. So in other words, if you go around shouting and screaming at somebody because you woke up on the wrong side of bed that morning, actually what you want is for people to just make allowances for you and move out of the way until you calm down. So that's how you treat people. If somebody comes shouting and screaming at you because they're upset at that particular time, just ignore them, move on. They're not always like that, and if they are always like that, then don't associate with them. It's not doing you any good. The hardest thing in life is to be happy. And the simple reason for that is because most people don't understand what makes them happy. They are absolutely inundated with media ideals of materialism and possessions and holidays and whatever. I'm privileged enough to know some of probably the wealthiest people in the world, some of probably the most beautiful people, some of the most intelligent people, some of the most attractive, famous people in the world we have come across. We are, in fact, a lot of people in our circle are one step away from the most privileged people on the planet. Of those people, the ones that I can count as being genuinely happy, probably on one or two hands, and for the simple reason that those things do not make you happy. The difference is actually what makes you happy is being true to yourself. And actually, the more of these things you have, you tend to have more responsibilities, and they tend to burden you and weigh you down. Now, that doesn't mean to say you don't have to have ambition and you don't strive for things, but I think, as with everything in life, life is about moderation. The reality is, anything in life in excess can be bad for you. Too much water will kill you, too much oxygen will kill you, and yet we need them to live. So in the same way, too much money can be bad for you, too much fame can be bad for you. These things all become a burden, they become a responsibility that you don't really need, and they stop you from, they detract from your true happiness, your true purpose, from actually being yourself. Over and above all of that, I believe we not only don't want to have regrets, but we actually actively have a responsibility to further humankind. If it weren't for people like us, women wouldn't have a vote. People who are not white would not necessarily be in the same room or bus or environment as people who are white. The bottom line is we have a responsibility to stand up for things we believe in, and stand up for things that we think are right. And that means seizing the opportunities around us, doing the things that we believe are right, and making a difference. The only thing worse than failing is actually not having tried or having an opinion at all. It's not about failure. Failure is not a bad thing, actually. I also believe that until you cross the line, you don't really know where the line is. So failure is part and parcel of life. But we owe it to ourselves and humanity. We are responsible to try and change things for the better. One of the ways in which I think I make a difference is a few times a year I will throw quite big parties, which are generally speaking, they're open to all my friends. And the reason I do it is because I want them to come and have a great time and meet like-minded people, and connect with people they may not otherwise connect with, and actually just learn that enjoying themselves and meeting good people is not something that's for the few and far between. So, for example, at New Year we have a New Year's party every year, and we have literally 200 or 300, maybe 400 people on the guest list, of which there'll be 200, 250 people at my house. It will be absolutely ram-packed. And everybody wants to come because they meet great people, they have a great time, and it's probably the best place to be in New Year for some of our friends. If you are, over my career and my life, I have been responsible for thousands of people in various guises, and I've been giving them what I would consider to be non-practical guidance, which some people might call spiritual guidance, but I think that might be a little too far-fetched. But really just kind of moral and the benefit of what little wisdom I think I have, and have gained over the years. I've been trying to guide people in that way. You find your destiny on the path you choose to avoid it. It's more about a belief in a true spirit. So the Buddhists also believe your path to nirvana, which is your ultimate peace, is through an evolution of your spirit and your being. So what it's trying to say, I think, in many ways, is that no matter how many distractions and how many different paths and options you're given, ultimately there is only a true path for you to follow in whatever your state or form your energy is. Now this is getting a bit ethereal. We should probably stop it at that, because there's a much bigger discussion around what your spirit and energy stands for and why we're here on the planet at all.
Perfect.
Okay, another one thing. Okay. Yeah, okay.